Hey everybody, it's Janet Hinagashi! Welcome to my very first long-form video in very fancy horizontal format! If you saw my 16 vertical videos where I listed each Japanese language YuYu Hakusho character image song categorized by character or shared theme, you may have caught at the very end of the last video about the theme songs that I was going to start analyzing individual songs in long-form videos. And you may have noticed the still images on my profiles or posted polls on YouTube asking which songs you'd be most interested in me analyzing, as well as me asking which songs I should talk more about at the end of each of the 16 shorts. Well, my goal is to analyze every single lyrical YuYu Hakusho song, and there's about 50 to 60 of them, depending on which ones you consider having lyrics, because some are virtually wordless, or feature dialogue with music that some wouldn't count as lyrics. That's when I realized that all those debatably lyricless songs are all on the same album, which is the first music battle CD, which I've mentioned several times throughout my short videos. And while some of the songs exist on other albums, all of the songs on this album have dialogue before, during, or after each track that carry a continuous narrative. And even if you do find and listen to the audio of the album, chances are you don't know Japanese, or won't be able to find a translation of the tracks. So instead of starting off my song analysis series with one song, I'm going to do an entire album for you guys. While I won't be analyzing every song on this album, I will be diving into the debatably lyricless ones since they wouldn't make a long enough video on their own, and I will be translating the dialogue of each track. The translations won't be line for line, but more of a summary. Now, note that I myself am not fluent in Japanese. For the sections I could not find already translated out there, I used programs to transcribe the audio and then translate them, so there may be some errors. I did get help from someone the few times I couldn't transcribe or translate something, shout out to Yile Kong, but largely I did everything myself. So if you know Japanese and want to correct something I got wrong, feel free to leave a comment. Also, at the time of writing this, there are playlists on YouTube that have this entire album you can listen to online. YuYu Jukebox has all the Japanese YuYu Hakusho songs out there, including a playlist of the songs on this album with a dialogue and a version without, in case you want to check out the tracks for yourself, which I highly recommend doing. So let's start with the album itself. Released on August 20th, 1993, the album is called YuYu Hakusho Music Battle Hen, with hen meaning arc or edition. I just refer to it as the first music battle CD because there are other music battles that came out after this one later on. On the album cover, we see each main guy sporting their respective instrument that I feel is a great reflection of their roles among the team. Yusuke is the leader, so it would make sense for him to be the front man on the mic. Kuwabara is the heart of the team, who carries the beat of morale, making him the perfect drummer. Kurama is versatile, classical, and popular, fitting for the electric guitar. And Hiei's got a vibe that's deep, dark, and brimming with charisma, reflective of the electric bass guitar. Now, there was a poster out there that was this album cover expanded to show Botan on keyboard, Keiko with maracas, and Yukina with a tambourine. While plenty of songs on this album probably involved a keyboard, I don't recall any of them featuring maracas or tambourines. There's also nowhere in the dialogues that mention any of the girls playing instruments at any time. So think of this poster as the girls just wanting to pose with instruments to promote the album, not because that's what they play in the songs. The pages of the album insert booklet have close-ups of the characters as they're seen on the cover in between song lyrics, and then the back has the Toguro brothers along with the song list, and they also have close-ups in the booklet as well. And now on to the songs. I don't consider the first track on the album as part of the lyrical songs nor a wordless track, but more of a drama dialogue. It technically does include some lyrics, but that's not the focus of the track, and it's only an eighth of the full length of the recording. It's simply called Opening, and it starts off with the first 30 seconds of the regular version of the theme song, Hohoemi no Bakudan, before fading out. Yusuke then narrates that during the Dark Tournament, his team decides to take a break and return to the city to rest. Yusuke thinks about going to school to tease his classmates for a change, before Hiei, Kurama, Botan, and soon Kuwabara all show up to talk to Yusuke about something important. Kuwabara chimes in, explaining that he's been sensing some kind of demonic aura that's been giving him this bad feeling as if they're about to get caught up in a terrifying incident that he can sense in the lower half of his body. Yusuke brushes it off, telling Kuwabara that maybe he just has to pee. You then hear some weird sounds of what I assume is supposed to be koenma coming through on some kind of communication device presented by Botan. Or maybe it's another goofy mission tape that they're now watching on someone's VCR. Koenma explains that Toguro is at large. Now, I'm a little confused by the details. Either Toguro is using evil music to command a horde of demons to directly attack and eliminate humans in the human realm, or Toguro is using evil music to hypnotize humans in the human realm to attack and eliminate each other under the influence of the horde of demons. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if a bunch of large demons are physically and directly attacking people themselves, or if it's more like a Suzaku situation where the demons are something like insects controlled by Toguro through his music to infect people to make them attack each other. As I mentioned earlier, I don't speak Japanese, and the translation I used wasn't clear on that, so if you speak Japanese and have listened to the dialogue, let me know in the comments which scenario it is. Koenma then tells the team that their mission is to fight Togoro's evil music with their own musical performance, wishing them good luck and that the tape will now self-destruct. You then hear really weird, distorted sounds of Botan panicking, screaming, and grunting. The sounds Botan makes are honestly the weirdest part of this entire album in my opinion. Please go and listen to it and let me know I'm not the only one who feels uncomfortable listening to it. Anyway, the tape blows up and the gang discusses their musical abilities. Kuwabara admits that he always skipped music class and asks Hiei if he can even do anything, to which Hiei replies that he can play a little bit of the xylophone, which Kuwabara laughs at. Hiei asks if Yusuke can do anything, but Yusuke admits he's never had interest in something as frivolous as music. Botan turns the morale around by encouraging them all to give music a try. You then hear them testing instruments with Yusuke saying he'll sing, and Kuwabara confessing that he's always wanted to try the drums. Yusuke says that singing will get him even more fans, and then you can faintly hear Hiei say that he's not worried about that for himself, causing Yusuke to ask what he means by that. I'm not sure if that was some sort of dig at Yusuke or Hiei referencing having his own fans. I think it was meant as an insult to Yusuke. The track ends with the team getting ready to practice with Botan getting them all fired up. For some reason, the next song in this album is titled Kiki, which means demon or devil, yet the song is actually Yusuke's solo song, Kokoro wo Tsunaide, which they perform poorly, especially Yusuke, who sings completely out of tune. This song really confused me because I heard it before I knew the context of it being part of a CD narrative. I couldn't figure out why Yusuke sang the song perfectly in Kokoro Tsunaide, but sang it poorly in this version. Was his voice actor in character as Yusuke who can't sing in Kiki, but out of character as the voice actor himself in Kokoro wo Tsunaide? I thought all image songs were sung in character. Everything finally made sense when I translated all the dialogue for all the songs, especially on this CD. Anyway, Yusuke is easily the worst performer in the song. The rest of it sounds like a garage band practice session. Kuwabara on the drums was fine, but a little off. As for Hiei and Kurama does pretty well on the guitar for the most part. And Hiei, well, you can't hear the bass very well, but when I isolated the bass from the song, it wasn't polished, but it was decent. There's really not much else to say about the song itself, which is why I don't think it would have been worth covering in its own video. However, I can talk a bit about the lyrics that Yusuke sang. It includes up to the first chorus of Kokoro wo Tsunaide before the song stops and goes into the dialogue. With Kokoro wo Tsunaide basically meaning something like join your hearts or connect our hearts, the lyrics are about how Yusuke can't achieve his goals by himself, so he'll happily put his faith in his teammates. But I'll talk more about that whenever I decide to do an analysis video for Kokoro wo Tsunaide. Anyway, after the musical performance part of the track and onto the dialogue part, Yusuke and Kuwabara think they did well, but Botan says they were awful. Hiei insults Kuwabara's sense of rhythm, even though I thought it was fine. Kurama says Yusuke's vocals were terrible, and Botan says Hiei and Kurama have no room to talk. Botan then declares that all of them will have to undergo intense musical training in the spirit world. The guys are all confused at first, but then agree, and then you hear a little sparkle sound. So I guess that's the sound of them all teleporting to spirit world. There's silence, and then the sound of footsteps growing louder, followed by a deep chuckle. The footsteps and laughter are then revealed to be that of younger Togoro's. I'm not sure if he was listening to them or we're now hearing him in some other place, but he says to enjoy his beautiful music and to listen to your heart's content. I assume he's addressing the listener here. It then goes straight into the next song, which is Togoro's wordless song, RDER March. It has a very ominous intro, which I think is a synth or an organ or something, and then Toguro absolutely shreds on his crazy guitar. Now the insert art shows both the Toguro brothers on guitar, but you never hear the older brother speak, nor is he even referenced directly as an individual. You do hear some rapid gunshots at some point, so maybe he also plays the machine gun. Now you do hear other actual instruments being played like the drums or the synth or organ I mentioned, but I don't know who's supposed to be playing them. Younger Toguro does refer to having an orchestra later, so maybe it's other demons they rounded up or humans they hypnotized. Can you imagine in Season 1 where the teachers turned into Suzaku's evil zombie minions but then they started rocking out? Anyway, you can also hear some glass breaking, people screaming, car horns honking, explosions, a horse whinnying, people clamoring, I think some aerial strikes, all sorts of chaos going on throughout the song. Now, younger Toguro does say a few sentences during the song along with a laugh. He says, "This is the suffering when dealing with humans. The great clash with the dark spirits awaits. bringing even more suffering. You'll see what he's alluding to later on. After the song plays, we go to the guys in the spirit world where you hear snoring and a steady ticking. As the main guys are sleeping, Kurama explains to the botan that they're listening to a special spirit world metronome that cures tone deafness and grants the ability to sense and perform rhythm and pitch, which is taught through the sound of the metronome as the guys slumber. Botan kind of doubts this method, but then Kurama declares that the invitation to the Dark Music Festival must have reached Toguro by now, and it's time to wake up the guys. Kurama tries waking them up, but fails as the guys seem to just talk in their sleep. Botan essentially yells, "Look over there, a practically naked supermodel!" And it definitely works to wake up the guys as Yusuke and Kuwabara are falling over each other like, "What? Where? Let me see, I don't see her!" Botan laughs, and then hiei calls them idiots, as I guess hiei and Kurama woke up at some point, I'm not sure when. Kurama tells the team that it's time to go up against Toguro. You hear the sparkly sound again, and soon you hear a trumpet fanfare as Koto soon introduces herself as the host of the Dark Music Festival, where Team Urameshi will go up against Team Toguro, which I guess is just younger Toguro and his orchestra, and I assume his older brother, who's just there and never says anything. She says the first person up to the mic is Kurama, the Rose Prince himself, to sing a song, Kurayami ni Akai Bara, Romantic Soldier, which in English is Red Roses in the Darkness, Romantic Soldier. The song plays out as you would normally hear the audio. It's an upbeat and inspirational song where Kurama sings about being a hopeful soldier of love who fights to protect people. After the song, the crowd cheers and Kuwabara praises Kurama's performance, and then Yusuke points out that their enemies took a lot of damage from it. Koto then announces that hiei is next, calling him the cool evil eye master with his song Daisan no Me, which means the third eye. Kuwabara tells hiei not to get nervous, and Botan points out that hiei is forgetting his microphone, causing Yusuke to call him careless. Hiei says that he doesn't need to sing because he can control the instruments with his demonic energy. Yusuke then questions his abilities and is like, "Aren't you super tone deaf?" Which confuses me because didn't they all just undergo Kurama's training for perfect pitch? Was hiei not a part of it? Was Yusuke not informed about the magic metronome and just took a nap and then woke up not knowing they're all musically skilled now? Did Yusuke just forget? Was he just teasing hiei? He was probably just teasing hiei, that's my guess. Anyway, hiei responds with his trademark humph, and that's where the track ends. So this is probably the weirdest song on all the albums because what is even happening in this song? I remember when I first heard this song in the mid-2000s after downloading it off of a totally legitimate song downloading site. I thought there was a pretty good chance that it was actually some random song incorrectly labeled as a YuYu Hakusho song because it doesn't sound like any of the other songs at all. So it starts off with some whooshing sounds and this weird growl you'll hear a few times throughout the song. I have no idea what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's the dragon joining it. Then you hear some synths going on, and then you hear a bass line if the quality of your audio device is good enough. Now, as I mentioned in the list of hiei songs video short, I've seen this song as crediting hiei on bass, and you do see him playing a bass guitar on the album cover and in the album insert, as I pointed out earlier. So for this reason, I believe he is playing the bass manually while playing all the other instruments with his demon energy. So this raises a few questions which I'll get into after I'm done describing the song. Most of the bass line he plays throughout this song is this, by the way. Now that you've heard it isolated, it should be easier to listen for. So as the bass line goes, you hear what sounds like a sitar, that weird growl again, and then a quick drum beat. Then there's a flute melody similar to the bass line with a really cool beat going, some synths again, and then someone whispering, "Who's there?" which you'll also hear again throughout the song. Then it breaks down a bit with a mysterious feel, you hear some sirens for some reason. I don't know if it's supposed to be referencing the chaos happening in the human realm, hiei is using a cop car as an instrument, or if they're coming to arrest him because his beats are too sick. Who knows? But then there's very regal sounding trumpets, some funky guitar grooves, and then another breakdown with a drum beat, some snapping, a groovy organ, funky guitar again, and then you get hiei's one line in the whole song, which is, "Here we go." Now if you listen closely, you can hear the bass line get nice and funky for a little bit. I also isolated this part so you can actually hear it. I think it sounds pretty good. Then you hear a man say something that kind of sounds like, "He's the moves, the mist." What does it mean? No clue. Then more sirens and trumpets, quick drum beat again, more trumpets, soon more funky guitars, then back to the flutes from earlier and the guy asking, "Who's there?" a few more times, and hiei's bass line if you listen close enough. And that's the song. If you've never heard the song before and only my description of it just now, you're probably thinking, wow, that sounds like a weird song. Well, it is, and you should definitely go listen to it. The song was composed and arranged by Kenji Yamamoto, who supposedly also played the bass and or guitar parts, so if any of you know him, please ask him what's going on with this song. Anyway, here are the questions I have. When the team was talking about their musical talents, Hiei only says he can play the xylophone. So when he played the bass during Kiki, does that mean that was the first time he ever picked up a bass? He played pretty well for never playing one before. Or maybe he could already kind of play it and either forgot or didn't think he played it well enough to mention it. Or maybe he just didn't want to reveal his true talents for whatever reason. But the musical training seems to have made him better, and I guess it also taught him how to use his demon energy to play all the other instruments. I know I'm overthinking this, and none of this is probably canon anyway, but this is how my brain works, and you're all along for the ride. Now, as for the dialogue part afterwards, Kuwabara teases Hiei about trying too hard to act cool. Hiei scoffs at him, but soon notices the crowd cheering and declares his song of victory, causing Kuwabara to begrudgingly admit that Hiei was pretty good. Botan points out that the demon's evil energy is weakening and encourages one more push. Now, I don't know if she's referring to the demons causing chaos in the human realm or the stock demons in Togoro's orchestra. I don't quite know. Kurama asks who's next, and Kuwabara says he'll sing a love song dedicated to Yukina to make the Toguro brothers' brains boil. And then who shows up but none other than Yukina herself? Kuwabara becomes ecstatic, and then Yukina wishes him luck. Botan tells Kuwabara to watch out for the stairs, and he's like, what stairs? Kuwabara then falls down the stairs. The crowd laughs, but don't worry, he's okay. The song begins, followed by Koto's introduction of the song. She says, "Thank you for waiting. The river flows into your town. The song flows into your heart. Tonight, what flows into your heart is the grit of one man, Kuwabara, Kuwabara, Kazuma Kuwabara, singing this song, Otoko no Junjo, which means a man's pure heart." Kuwabara then sings the song as you would normally hear it on any other album, which sounds more like a dramatic reading at times. The genre is known as enka, which refers to traditional Japanese music. I talked a bit more about this song in the video short about Kuwabara's songs, but let me know if you'd like me to analyze the song and its lyrics in its own separate video. After the song, the crowd is kinda negative sounding. But Kuwabara is confident and thinks he did really well, until Botan points out that the townspeople are suffering again. Toguro tells Kuwabara that his song revived his orchestra's dark energy. Kuwabara is shocked and then is insulted by Yusuke and Hiei. Yusuke feels motivated and decides to go up next. Here's a fun fact I noticed about this track. If you listen closely to the dialogue, you can hear some of the same sounds going on in the background that you heard in Murder March, such as a scream, some explosions, and a horse whinnying. The music starts and Koto introduces the song Fire. The song is performed as you would normally hear it on other albums. Yusuke sings about how his passion for his friends and loved ones fuel him to fight with everything he's got. After the performance, the crowd is cheering, but Yusuke is panting. Koenma points out that Yusuke's spirit energy is dwindling. Keiko soon enters the scene, calling out for Yusuke and shocking the team, but Yusuke soon collapses, causing concern from his friends. Koto announces that Yusuke went down without much of a fight and that his team is in big trouble. Keiko pleads for Yusuke to hang in there, and Yusuke weakly acknowledges her. Toguro calls them pathetic, and Koto questions if this is the end. Keiko then begs to sing next, which surprises Koto. The music begins as Koto introduces the song, which is Yell, as being sung by Keiko, who was initially cheering from the audience but is now grabbing the microphone and stepping to the center of the stage. Toguro begs her to stop because he hates love songs most of all. The song itself is sweet and gentle and full of sincerity. Keiko sings about how she always supports Yusuke and is full of admiration for him. Even if she's just thinking about him quietly, she hopes that it helps him somehow because she's always cheering for him whether she's near or far. The song ends and the crowd cheers, and you can faintly hear Toguro swear. Botan encourages Yukina to cheer on Yusuke together with Keiko. Koto then announces that the three will be singing Hold Out. The crowd continues cheering as the song begins. Now sometimes I listen to the song and think the harmonizing is bad, and other times I think the singing's decent. I'd say the music definitely has summer vibes, but the song is very cheesy and overly girly, and the trio practically turns into swooning cheerleaders for the main guys, encouraging them to hold out or hang in there and win that fight. Please don't make me talk more about this song. Afterwards, the crowd cheers and applauds loudly and fully. Yusuke grunts and Keiko is relieved to hear that Yusuke is revived. Yusuke thanks Keiko for saving him and curses Toguro. Koto announces that Yusuke has risen after fainting, possibly healed by the song sung by the girls. Hiei says something I can't quite hear before Yusuke prepares for the next song. If any of you out there can tell what Hiei says towards the end, let me know in the comments. Yusuke shouts, "Let's finish off Toguro!" before the music starts. The song, called Battle Power, is a little weird in the sense that there's music throughout, but no singing at all and just dialogue. I would count it as a drama dialogue track, but since it's set to music, I include it with the other lyrical songs. Koto simply announces what happens between Yusuke's and Togoro's team, but I personally count it as a Koto song. It starts as upbeat and heroic with a valiant feel as Koto describes how the teams intimidate their opponents by flexing and hyping themselves up by blasting their auras from both sides of the ring that spread throughout the arena. She questions if the Urameshi band can save the world from evil, and then introduces Togoro's band as being from the Dark Realm and wearing a charming smile. After a little over a minute and a half, Koto announces that the final battle now begins, and the music briefly becomes heavier before turning valiant again, then transitions into something similar to Murder March. The valiant music soon returns, and this cycle repeats for a while. This implies a back-and-forth performance between the music teams. Sometimes the good guys' upbeat musical parts remind me of the song Eye to Eye performed by kuwabara, hiei, and kurama, especially during the guitar-focused parts. After the 3-minute mark, Koto excitedly claims that the match is incredible and that neither team is giving an inch. And shortly before the 4-minute mark, there's a crash, and Koto announces that a wave of love from Yusuke's team sends Togoro's team crashing into a wall. Has the match been decided? The song ends and you hear wind blowing, followed by panting. Younger Toguro declares a forfeit in recognition of the efforts of Yusuke's team. He says that he hasn't given up on his plans to wipe out the human world and still wants to someday. Incoming series spoilers from Season 2 and 3. Skip to the time on screen to avoid the spoiler. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is different from his ultimate goal in the series where if he beats Yusuke in the Dark Tournament, the committee would grant Sakyo's wish to create a tunnel to the demon world, so that Toguro would keep finding stronger opponents to fight until he finds someone truly worthy of a challenge, like what he wanted from Yusuke. Which is rather interesting because we later learned that as an upper B class, younger Toguro could have gone through the barrier by himself anyway. In this CD narrative, they made his goals align more with Sakyo and Sensui, turning him into a more classic evil villain without the fascinating complexity of his manga and anime counterparts. End spoilers. Anyway, Koto declares the Urameshi band the winner, claiming that it's a victory of their justice, courage, and love. You hear the crowd continue to cheer as Yusuke's band plays the song Kokoro wo Tsunaide fully and correctly, the perfected version of Kiki, the song that they tried practicing earlier before the competition. After the song ends, you can hear the crowd still cheering, followed by Yukina shocked and grateful at how the team took down Toguro and his group. Keiko confirms that peace has been returned to the town thanks to the Urameshi band. Botan admits that she wasn't sure how things would turn out for a while, but is glad for the outcome. After Yusuke expresses his gratitude, Kurama announces that they'll now all sing Mienai Mirai together as a farewell for an encore. As I've described the song in the past, it's sung in alternating parts by Yusuke, Kuwabara, Hiei, and Kurama, and then Botan, Kuinma, Keiko, and Yukina all join in singing at the end. The title translates to Toward the Unseen Future. It's a slower song that highlights the bond between the characters and how they're hopeful for their futures. After the song fades out, Kuinma congratulates the team for their victory and splendid effort, but not to let their guard down in case evil ever decides to strike again. Yusuke responds confidently that his enemies are nothing to worry about. Kuwabara teasingly points out that Yusuke needed Keiko to come save him, to which Botan agrees, stating that the outcome might have been different if Keiko hadn't stepped in. Hiei also agrees, saying that they're all a handful, angering Yusuke, who tells Hiei that he shouldn't be acting all high and mighty since he can't even sing well enough to have participated vocally. Hiei responds that it's not that he can't sing, but simply that he chose not to. I noticed that Hiei's original Japanese persona in the anime is a lot more rebellious and juvenile compared to his English-speaking counterpart, that comes off as more of a mature, distant loner, and personally, I prefer the latter, though this snarky comment is pretty funny. Something to note here is that the only YuYu Hakusho album released before this one was all wordless tracks mainly consisting of characters' theme music, so listeners won't actually hear Hiei sing his own song until the next album released 3 months later. Anyway, Yusuke and Kuwabara are shocked and offended to hear this, causing Kuinma to tell them all to calm down. A transmission then comes in, which I assume interrupts Koenma's broadcast on a device. It's younger Toguro who snickers, claiming that he didn't use his full power during the music battle, and that it was only a warm-up before the Dark Tournament where he will win by using 100% of his power. The last track on the album is titled Ending, but it's just the regular version of Sayonara Bye Bye. Yusuke has a little bit of dialogue as the beginning plays, telling Toguro that they'll take him on any time, and that if Toguro comes at them with 100% of his power, they'll strike back with 200% of theirs. And then the rest of the song plays out normally, and that's the whole album. Personally, I thought it was a really fun concept that was well executed. I love that the original cast returned for all their roles, and it really makes me wish we would have gotten the Funimation cast to sing all the translated songs, including this album. I had the time of my life when I played the Dark Tournament for the PlayStation 2 and heard all the characters voiced by the Funimation cast as a kid. I was kicking my feet and everything the first time I heard Hiei uses Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Unfortunately, I've read that it was too expensive and complicated for American studios to obtain the licenses to localize the image songs, and YuYu Hakusho just didn't have a big enough appeal in the US for it to be worth it, which once again makes me super sad. But we did get English versions of all the theme songs, even if they were just shortened for TV versions, which was pretty rare for anime back then. But I still wish the show got more love from America. I feel like every time there's an opportunity for it to be brought up or talked about, it gets pushed aside for shows like its successor, Hunter x Hunter, or the disgustingly popular Dragon Ball series. The height of YuYu Hakusho's popularity was when Toonami aired it daily in 2003 for 2 years, only up to the episode right before the final round of the Dark Tournament, before it would start back to episode 1, repeating the cycle a few times before quietly demoting it to a ridiculous weekly 4 a.m. time slot to finish it out. Yes, I'm still mad about it. I continued to watch the series as the episodes were released on DVDs, but most people didn't bother to seek it out and just gave up and forgot about it after it disappeared from daily Toonami airings. By 2006, Naruto had taken over as the most popular anime in the US, pouring over into non-nerd circles and soon making anime a public interest among everyone, and no longer a niche thing that you'd get bullied over. And while that was great, everyone had moved on from YuYu Hakusho at this point, and while I did like a few other anime here and there, none of it ever touched my heart like YuYu Hakusho. And whenever I tried talking to other people about it, they either hadn't heard of it or soon shove other anime into the conversation. This problem continues to this day. Members of designated YuYu Hakusho groups on social media insist on bringing in other, more popular anime to talk about and compare it to, or to talk over as a subject entirely. Seeing this happen over and over again for decades is one of the things that made me want to start these videos. How many YouTube channels out there or digital creator video pages do you know that feature only YuYu Hakusho content? YuYu Hakusho never got the spotlight it deserved in my country, so I'm trying to keep the conversation going by giving American fans extra content they never saw or knew about due to it not being promoted, or at least commentary on it that will inspire them to seek out and understand the original Japanese sources. And I also hope that it helps me connect to other fans out there because, well, I feel like an oddball even among YuYu Hakusho fans with the awkward enthusiasm I have for the series that tends to be off-putting to others. But enough of that. What do you think of my analysis and synopsis of the first Music Battle album? If you haven't listened to the album yet, make sure you do and then come back and tell me what you think of it, and tell me if my descriptions of the songs were accurate. Comment which lyrical song you want me to analyze for my next video. Should it be one of the songs I briefly touched on in the music battle? A different one? You've got over 50 to choose from, and you can always refer back to my 16 shorts as for a refresher. And be sure to follow me for weekly Sunday video releases to learn more about lesser-known YuYu Hakusho content and trivia. Don't forget to share the love!